Nevertheless, if the Federal Reserve, as expected, starts cutting interest rates, there would be some support for the economy. As consumption growth in the US was more concentrated in services over the past 2 years, demand for goods may grow faster this year and render support to global trade. For Europe, economic growth is expected to remain weak this year amid geopolitical tensions and the lack of significant improvement in external demand. The external environment will continue to put pressure on Hong Kong's exports of goods, but global monetary conditions may ease progressively over the course of the year, which would bode well for export performance. On the other hand, with the continued revival of handling capacity, particularly air passenger capacity, and the government vigorously promoting mega event economy, visitor arrivals are expected to increase further, driving growth in exports of travel and other related services. Moreover, rising incomes among the general public will continue to support private consumption. Successive government measures will help lift consumption sentiment as well. Fixed asset investment should also increase alongside continuing economic growth. Having regard to the above factors, we forecast that the Hong Kong economy will expand further this year, with growth of 2.5 to 3.5% in real terms for the year as a whole. Domestic cost pressures are expected to increase alongside the economic recovery. External price pressures, however, should ease further, though persisting geopolitical tensions may pose upside risks. We forecast an underlying inflation rate and headline inflation rate of 1.7% and 2.4% respectively this year. In the medium term, the Hong Kong economy will see sustained and solid development. While geopolitical tensions will continue to impact international capital flows and trade patterns, and the expansionary fiscal and monetary policies vigorously pursued by most economies during the pandemic have also added vulnerabilities to the global economy and financial system. Global demand should be able to revive gradually in tandem with the anticipated progressive declines in interest rates in the US and the euro area in the coming few years. More importantly, our country's focus on promoting high-quality development will provide Hong Kong with ample room to grow. The National 14th Five-Year Plan has set a clear positioning for Hong Kong's development of the 8 centers. Future prospects will be bright as long as Hong Kong steadily forges ahead by leveraging its unique advantages under one country, two systems, proactively integrating to the overall national development, aligns with national development strategies, and continues to perform the role of an important node in the domestic and international dual circulation of our country. The government's efforts in expanding economic capacity, enhancing competitiveness, and cultivating new growth areas will also enable Hong Kong to seize opportunities when the global economic situation improves, enhancing its medium to long-term growth momentum. Based on the above considerations, we forecast that the Hong Kong economy will grow by an average of 3.2% a year. In real terms, from 2025 to 2028, the underlying inflation rate is forecast to average 2.5% a year. Bolstering confidence. The economic environment has been rather difficult in recent years amid intensifying geopolitical tensions and the rise of unilateralism and protectionism. Its impact on the mainland economy and even the Hong Kong economy, coupled with fierce competition from other economies, have caused unease among some about the future development of Hong Kong. That said, Hong Kong's economic outlook is bright. Despite a host of prevailing challenges, we will find infinite opportunities ahead as long as we stay on top of global trends and dare to explore. Global economic gravity will continue to shift eastward. Asia will remain an important engine of global economic growth. Our country's economy is now pursuing high-quality development through innovation, deepening reform, and sustaining a high-level two-way opening up. The overall trend of long-term growth remains unchanged. Our country has shown great care and staunch support for Hong Kong and recently extended the individual visit scheme to Xi'an and Qingdao. By leveraging Hong Kong's institutional advantages and our connectivity with the mainland and the rest of the world under one country, two systems, we will certainly be able to seize the opportunities coming our way. In the short run, the government has put in place a series of measures to showcase Hong Kong's appeal to people from around the world, empowering individuals and enterprises to seize every opportunity, and we will continue to roll out policies and initiatives on all fronts, drawing in capital, enterprises, and talent, expanding our economic capacity, and strengthening our impetus for development. Attracting enterprises, capital, and talent on all fronts. Our economy will develop better by drawing together a larger pool of companies, capital, and talent. The Office for Attracting Strategic Enterprises, the Innovation, Technology, and Industry Bureau, Invest Hong Kong, and the Hong Kong Investment Corporation Limited actively reach out to enterprises from the mainland and overseas, and proactively attract and assist high value-added technology industries and enterprises to establish a foothold in Hong Kong. Next month, 10+ strategic enterprises will sign a partnership agreement with Oasis. The companies have either confirmed setting up or expanding their businesses in Hong Kong, or they are planning to do so. Together with the 30 companies from the first batch, they are expected to bring about over $40 billion in investment to Hong Kong, creating about 13,000 jobs over the next few years. Their presence in Hong Kong will attract upstream, midstream, and downstream partners from their industry chains, promoting our innovation and technology sector's vibrant development. Hong Kong Investment Corporation Limited. Performing its role of channeling capital and leveraging market resources, the HKIC will attract more INT companies to establish their presence in Hong Kong, accelerating the development of strategic industries. The first batch of direct investment and co-investment projects will be implemented in the first half of this year, covering areas such as life technology, green technology and finance, semiconductors and chips, as well as the upgrading and transformation of manufacturing industries. The HKIC will also encourage enterprises in its investment portfolio to engage more actively in local, mainland, and overseas INT networks, where they can explore more application and development opportunities while identifying potential investors and their target clientele. To enhance Hong Kong's attractiveness to enterprises and capital, the HKIC will host a roundtable for international sovereign wealth funds. Sovereign wealth funds and financial leaders will be invited to explore investment opportunities and develop collaborative partnerships. A summit on startup investment and development in Hong Kong will also be organized. It will bring together prominent figures in the startup ecosystem with a view to boosting collaboration among the investment, industry, academic, and research sectors that will help support INT enterprise development at varying stages. Redomiciliation mechanisms. We have already taken the first step by putting in place user-friendly fund redomiciliation mechanisms for open-ended fund companies and limited partnership funds. These mechanisms attract existing foreign funds to establish and operate in Hong Kong. In the first half of 2024, we will submit a legislative proposal enabling companies domiciled overseas, especially enterprises with a business focus in the Asia-Pacific region, to re-domicile in Hong Kong. Opening up new capital sources. Alongside our long-standing efforts to reinforce Hong Kong's appeal to traditional European and American capital, we are striving to open up new capital sources, including those from the Middle East. At the end of last year, the Asia-Pacific region's first exchange-traded fund, which tracks stocks in Saudi Arabia, was listed in Hong Kong, a milestone in enhanced mutual access between our two markets. The Hong Kong Monetary Authority is also working with a number of financial institutions on the listing of an ETF in the Middle East that tracks Hong Kong stock indices. Pooling talent. A larger pool of talent can boost economic development and competitiveness. In recent years, we have rolled out a number of measures, including the Top Talent Pass scheme to draw for talent. In the past year or so, more than 140,000 applications were approved under various talent application schemes. About 100,000 of them have already arrived in Hong Kong. The Labor and Welfare Bureau will review the relevant arrangements in the middle of this year to ensure the competitiveness of these measures and their effectiveness in addressing our manpower demand. The median average age of successful applicants of the TTPS is 35. Over 60% of them are married, and most of them have brought their families to Hong Kong. More than half of those who have been in Hong Kong for at least half a year are employed. and their median monthly income is about $50,000. The Hong Kong Talent Engage is committed to attracting talent from the mainland and overseas, providing one-stop support services to help them settle here. The HKTE will organize a global talent summit and the Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau Greater Bay Area High Quality Talent Development Conference in May. Their aim is to promote Hong Kong's advantages as an international talent hub, enabling the flow of talent among the cities of the GBA. Creating favorable conditions for recovery. Property market. The government announced on the 25th of October 2023 the adjustments of demand-side management measures for residential properties. The relevant adjustments included shortening the applicable period of the special stamp duty from 3 years to 2 years, reducing the rates of the buyer stamp duty and the new residential stamp duty by half, and introducing a stamp duty suspension arrangement for incoming talent acquisition of residential properties. Among them, the stamp duty suspension arrangement has been well received, with over 500 applications approved. This is a testament to the appeal of Hong Kong for overseas talents. We have been keeping a close watch on the residential property market. After prudent consideration of the overall current situation, we decide to cancel all demand-side management measures for residential properties with immediate effect. That is, no SSD, BSD, or NRSD needs to be paid for any residential property transactions starting from today. We consider that the relevant measures are no longer necessary amidst the current economic and market conditions. The HKMA adjusted the counter-cyclical macroprudential measures for property mortgage loans in July last year. Taking into account the external and local economic situation, we consider that there is now room to make further adjustments to the relevant measures and other supervisory policies pertinent to property lending where appropriate, under the premise of maintaining the stability of the banking system. The HKMA will make announcements later today. Stock market. During the past year, we have made good progress in developing the stock market. We joined hands with regulators and HKEX in implementing a number of measures, including establishing the listing regime for specialist technology companies and the Hong Kong dollar renminbi dual counter securities model. Regarding attracting overseas enterprises to be listed in Hong Kong, HKEX has included the Saudi Arabia and Indonesia stock exchanges in its list of recognized stock exchanges last year, which facilitates enterprises primarily listed on the main market of these exchanges to seek secondary listing in Hong Kong. We are actively implementing measures proposed last October by the Task Force on Enhancing Stock Market Liquidity. They include reforming the growth enterprise market. The HKEX has consulted the market on such initiatives as introducing a treasury share buyback regime and maintaining trading operations under severe weather. Both are targeted for implementation in the middle of the year. The Securities and Futures Commission of Hong Kong and the HKEX are considering an array of measures to boost market efficiency and liquidity, including, first, enhancing the listing regime. Explore enhancing the process of price discovery in the initial public offering of shares and reviewing requirements for the public float of shares of listed companies to boost market efficiency. Listing requirements and arrangements for structured product will also be enhanced, while the listing costs of the product will be lowered. Second, improving the transaction mechanism. Explore reducing the minimum trading spread to narrow bid-ask spreads, with a proposal to be submitted in the second quarter. Enhancing stock trading units adopted in the cash market as the next step, and making further adjustments to the position limit and margin requirements of the derivative product to better meet risk management needs. Third, boosting investor services. Explore refining real-time market data services to provide investors with targeted services at a reasonable price. And fourth, stepping up market promotion. The HKEX will strengthen the promotion of Hong Kong securities market through its overseas offices and deepen connectivity with the Middle East and ASEAN countries to attract more issuers and capital. To further enhance market competitiveness, stamp duties payable on the transfer of real estate investment trust or REIT unit and the jobbing business of option market makers will be waived. It is estimated that this will reduce government revenue by about $1 billion annually. Assisting small and medium enterprises. Taking into consideration that the strength of our economic recovery still requires consolidation and changes in market conditions, the government will assist small and medium enterprises through different measures to tackle their capital flow problems, tap into new markets, and accelerate upgrading and transformation. SME Financing Guarantee Scheme. To assist SMEs in tackling their capital flow problems, I will extend the application period for the 80% and 90% guarantee products under the SME Financing Guarantee Scheme for 2 years to the end of March 2026. The total guaranteed commitment under the scheme will increase further by $10 billion. In addition, I have instructed the HKMA to maintain close communication with banks and the commercial sectors, adopt an accommodating manner to help enterprises tide over their liquidity needs, and refrain from demanding repayment of loans due to a fall in collateral value. Digital transformation. SMEs in the food and beverage industry and the retail industry will be invited to select suitable options among ready-to-use basic digital solutions and apply for subsidies on a matching basis early this year under the Digital Transformation Support Pilot Program. The solutions will focus on 3 areas: digital payment and shop front sales, online promotion, and customer management solutions. It's expected that at least 8,000 eligible SMEs will benefit from the pilot program. Bud Fund. We have been making continuous enhancements to the dedicated fund on branding, upgrading, and domestic sales. They include raising the cumulative funding ceiling per enterprise and streamlining application procedures. I propose to inject $500 million more into the fund to help SMEs boost their competitiveness and tap into mainland and overseas markets. This includes the launch of e-commerce Easy under the fund. It will provide support of up to $1 million per enterprise for implementing e-commerce projects in the mainland. Deduction of expenses and allowances under profits tax. We propose to introduce 2 enhancement measures for deduction of expenses under profits tax. Profits taxpayers will be granted tax deduction for expenses incurred in reinstating the condition of the leased premises to their original condition. As regards the allowances for industrial buildings and structures, as well as commercial buildings and structures, the time limit for claiming the allowances will be removed. This will allow the new owner to claim allowances for the property after a change of ownership, subject to factors such as the construction cost of the property and the balancing charge of its previous owner. Both enhancement measures will take effect from the year of assessment 2024 to 25.
全方位
Building the Hong Kong brand on all fronts. Hong Kong is an international financial center and a world city with a distinctive blend of Chinese and Western cultures. We will build Hong Kong as a premier destination for business and tourism through better use of our social and natural resources, the consolidation of mega events and thematic annual conferences, and the integration of opportunities created by industry development. Mega events. Mega events create opportunities for attracting tourists while bringing wider entertainment and leisure choices for the people of Hong Kong. We will stage more mega events, boost their promotion and coordination, and maximize their economic and publicity benefits to enhance our international image. More than 80 mega events in a variety of themes and genres will be staged in Hong Kong in the first half of this year. For Art March alone, a series of arts and cultural events will be presented, such as Art Basel, Art at Harbor, and the Asian debut of the International Pop Culture Festival Complex Con. For sports events, Live Golf, an international golf tournament also featuring musical entertainment and other activities, will be staged for the first time in Hong Kong. Hong Kong, Guangdong Province, and Macau will co-host the 15th National Games in 2025. Members of the public can cheer the athletes on home ground or visit nearby GBA cities to watch the games. The government has set up the Mega Events Coordination Group to reach out proactively for more mega events to be staged in Hong Kong, while strengthening interdepartmental collaboration for such events to be successfully held. We have earmarked $100 million to boost mega event promotions over the next 3 years. Financial forums. Organizing thematic conferences can help reinforce Hong Kong's branding. The Global Financial Leaders Investment Summit and the Asian Financial Forum are two very successful illustrations of this. The Financial Mega Event Week will be launched in Hong Kong in March, featuring an array of major financial events, including the Wealth for Good in Hong Kong Summit, which brings together owners and managers of family offices, the Global Investors Symposiums by Milken Institutes, etc. There will also be a wealth of activities for enriching Hong Kong's branding, including a roundtable conference to be organized by the Hong Kong IC. Apart from inviting visitors to our city, we will continue to go global, visiting regions and markets to tell the good stories of Hong Kong and expand our circle of friends. We will also launch a new sponsored overseas speaking engagement program. Renowned scholars and industry leaders will be sponsored to attend overseas events and give speeches to promote Hong Kong and its many advantages. Better use of the harborfront and cultural resources. Our magnificent Victoria Harbour, with its stunning harbourfront, is a natural beauty and popular leisure destination for tourists and the general public that creates memorable moments and positive impressions of Hong Kong. We will make good use of such valuable resources to offer many more enchanting moments and experiences for our people and visitors alike. The dazzling fireworks displayed above the night sky of Victoria Harbour and last year's special waterfront pyrotechnic shows along the waterfronts of Wan Chai and the West Kowloon Cultural District were well received by the public. The Hong Kong Tourism Board, Hong Kong TB, will hold pyrotechnic and drone shows against the backdrop of the splendid night views of Victoria Harbour every month. The Hong Kong TB will also revamp its light and sound show, A Symphony of Lights. The Development Bureau will also introduce commercial facilities such as food and beverages, retail, and entertainment on a pilot basis at selected suitable harbourfront locations to bring convenience and better experience to visitors. Energize tourism. The Hong Kong TB will develop brand new seasonal, festival, and event experiences of varying themes featuring Chinese and Western arts, popular cultures, wine and dine, outskirt explorations, active sports, and more, to cater to the interests of wide-ranging visitor segments. The Hong Kong TB will also encourage the industry to launch a more diversified portfolio of tourism products. We will continue to enhance local group tour activities. The Tourism Commission will, over the next few years, continue to organize well-received signature creative arts and cultural tourism projects. That includes the Sai Kung Hoi Arts Festival, which features an integration of arts with the island, allowing visitors to experience its natural landscape, history, culture, and heritage. Another example is the Design District Hong Kong, which takes visitors on a journey to discover the local culture and characteristics of Hong Kong. In addition, the Hong Kong TB will promote immersive, in-depth tourism with themes like City Walk and promote young adult-focused activities such as hiking, cycling, stand-up paddleboarding, trail running, and stargazing in the wilderness. It's all part of an energizing effort to soft-sell Hong Kong. Our Temple Street night market promotion last December successfully drew tourists and locals alike to this street of distinctive character. The Hong Kong TB will offer more diversified activities and promotion to boost the flow of people and the district and create more business opportunities for its merchants. Enhance publicity and promotional efforts. The Hong Kong TB will launch a new Hong Kong tourism brand and continue to target source markets and collaborate with GBA cities to jointly promote multi-destination tourism. Sincerity and hospitality will make Hong Kong even more popular. The Hong Kong TB will enhance the quality tourism services scheme and launch a new round of publicity activities, including reality shows, and the commendation of outstanding frontline staff in the service industry. We want to promote Hong Kong as a hospitable, people-focused city in collaboration with various sectors. We'll make every effort to promote mega events and design in-depth thematic tours, enrich tourism resources, and provide more novel products and experiences to cater to visitors of all types and sources. This will help stimulate retail, consumption, catering, and transportation demands throughout Hong Kong. We will allocate additional funding totaling $1,095 million to support the Tourism Commission and the Hong Kong TB in organizing these and other Hong Kong events and activities, supporting people and enterprises. Having regard to the economic pressure faced by some industries and the people and the government's financial position this year, we will introduce the following measures. First, provide rates concession for domestic properties for the first quarter of 2024 to 25, subject to a ceiling of $1,000 for each rateable property. This measure is estimated to involve 3.08 million domestic properties and reduce government revenue by $2.6 billion. Second, provide rates concession for non-domestic properties for the first quarter of 2024 to 25, subject to a ceiling of $1,000 for each rateable property. This measure is estimated to involve 430,000 non-domestic properties and reduce government revenue by $370 million. Third, reduce salary tax and tax on the personal assessment for the year of assessment 2023 to 24 by 100%, subject to a ceiling of $3,000. The reduction will be reflected in the final tax payable for the year of assessment 2023 to 24. This measure will benefit 2.06 million taxpayers and reduce government revenue by $5.1 billion. Fourth, reduce profits tax for the year of assessment 2023 to 24 by 100%, subject to a ceiling of $3,000. The reduction will be reflected in the final tax payable for the year of assessment 2023 to 24. This measure will benefit 160,000 businesses and reduce government revenue by $430 million. And fifth, provide an allowance to eligible Social Security recipients equal to one-half of a month of the standard rate Comprehensive Social Security Assistance (CSSA) payments, old age allowance, old age living allowance, or disability allowance, while similar arrangements will apply to recipients of the Working Family Allowance, altogether involving an additional expenditure of about $3 billion. Accelerating the promotion of high-quality development. The promotion of high-quality development inspires continuing economic innovation and growth while conserving the natural environment, making life better for people. Green future and digitalization are two of its overarching themes. We have to make better use of Hong Kong's distinctive advantages of enjoying our nation's strong support and being closely connected to the world under one country, two systems. In pursuing high-quality development, we will open up new opportunities and bring more room for growth. Moving towards a green future. Green development is a defining feature of high-quality development. As global economies pursue carbon neutrality, green transformation creates huge business opportunities and financing needs, leading to industry clusters of great diversity. Sustainable fuels, energy saving, emission reduction, and carbon capture technologies continue to emerge. Green finance. Being an international financial center, Hong Kong is also rising as an international green finance center. The government is hosting Hong Kong Green Week this week, comprising events covering technology, finance, and other fields. It has brought together industry leaders from the Asia-Pacific region to examine issues such as green development and climate finance. This autumn, the Hong Kong MA will co-host a joint climate finance conference in Hong Kong with the Dubai Financial Services Authority. The conference will explore transition financing opportunities and challenges for the Middle East and Asia. Extend the Green and Sustainable Finance Grant Scheme. The government has so far provided subsidies to eligible bond issuers and loan borrowers for the issuance of more than 340 green and sustainable debt instruments in Hong Kong through the Green and Sustainable Finance Grant Scheme. The subsidies totaled $100 billion, enriching our green and sustainable finance ecosystem. We propose to extend the scheme, which is due to expire in mid-2024, to 2027 and expand the scope of subsidies to cover transition bonds and loans. This will encourage related industries in the region to make use of Hong Kong's transition financing platform as they move towards decarbonization. Formulate sustainability disclosure standards. Accurate information is essential to the promotion of sustainable financing. It is also the priority of international organizations and government agencies in the next few years. To deepen Hong Kong's green and sustainable finance development, enterprises must align their practices in sustainability disclosure with international standards. Financial Services and the Treasury Bureau and the SFC will formulate a roadmap and vision statement to assist companies and financial institutions in sustainability reporting and the analysis of relevant data, elucidating our vision of promoting green and sustainable finance. Green technology. Hong Kong also possesses advantages in green technology. More than 200 green technology companies work out of Hong Kong, with some equipped with globally competitive technologies and have successfully tapped into mainland and overseas markets. And the Greater Bay Area cities, apart from their market scale, enjoy strong capabilities in research, advanced manufacturing, and commercialization. Together, we have what it takes to become Asia's leading green technology hub. The government's Green Tech Fund funds research and development R&D projects which help Hong Kong decarbonize and enhance environmental protection and encourages their subsequent practical applications. With $400 million injected into the fund, 30 projects from local universities, public research institutes, and enterprises have been approved, involving a total grant of about $130 million for subsidizing local research projects. We will launch a green and sustainable fintech proof of concept subsidy scheme in the first half of this year. It will provide early stage funding support for green fintech, facilitating commercialization and fostering the development of new green fintech initiatives. Green shipping. Given maritime industry's vast market potential for green transformation, the Marine Department is planning to provide incentives for Hong Kong registered ships that have attained high ratings under the international standards on decarbonization formulated by the International Maritime Organization. This will involve about $65 million in funding, and the Transport and Logistics Bureau, in collaboration with the Environment and Ecology Bureau (EEB) and other relevant departments, is conducting a feasibility study to provide green methanol bunkering for local and ocean-going vessels. We expect to publish an action plan for Hong Kong's development into a green maritime fuel bunkering center this year. Green aviation. We are committed to developing Hong Kong International Airport, Hong Kong IA, into a green airport. The Airport Authority Hong Kong, AA, is working in collaboration with relevant government departments to simplify approval procedures for the transportation and storage of sustainable aviation fuel, SAF, so as to encourage more airlines to use SAF in Hong Kong. In addition, the AA has begun a consultancy study on SAF development trends worldwide, which will also put forward recommendations on policy measures and infrastructure, etc. The consultancy study is expected to be completed in the third quarter this year. Green City launched a pilot scheme on building integrated photovoltaics. The government has taken the lead in applying renewable energy RE in government buildings and facilities. We will launch a pilot scheme at the Electrical and Mechanical Services Department headquarters to explore photovoltaic technology applications on the facades of government buildings. We will also support public and private organizations to use RE to help Hong Kong realize carbon neutrality. New energy vehicles. Through its New Energy Transport Fund, the government has been promoting trials of various new energy public transport, including new energy buses, while encouraging the industry to conduct trials on a variety of new energy commercial transport, including electric goods vehicles and electric coaches. The government has been encouraging a wider use of electric vehicles. The first registration tax (FRT) concessions for electric vehicles, due to terminate at the end of March, will be extended for 2 years. Nevertheless, Given the price reduction of electrical vehicles and increasing availability of vehicle options, we will reduce the concessions by 40%. Specifically, the maximum FRT concession for electric private cars (EPCs) granted under the 1-for-1 replacement scheme will be adjusted to $172,500, whereas the concession ceiling for general EPCs will be lowered to $58,500. At the same time, EPCs valued at over $500,000 before tax will not be entitled to concessions under the Affordable Users Pay principle. As for other types of electric vehicles, including electric commercial vehicles, electric motorcycles, and electric motor tricycles, the FRT will continue to be waived in full over the next 2 years. The EEB will announce details in due course. Sustainable development of agriculture and fisheries industries. The EEB promulgated its blueprint for the sustainable development of agriculture and fisheries in December last year. For agriculture, we expect to enable the establishment of a modernized techno-agricultural park of approximately 11 hectares as part of the Agriculture Parks Phase 2 this year. It will help accelerate the modernization of agriculture through public-private partnership. We will launch a pilot project on modern urban farming in Ma'anshan this year. As for fisheries, 4 new fish culture zones with a total area of up to 590 hectares will begin operation in phases starting this year. Local mariculture production is expected to increase considerably. Digital economy. Digital economy has become a new driving force for economic development. As a new key production factor, data links different industries and sectors, empowering enterprises to enhance efficiency, boost their competitiveness, and create fresh business opportunities. The Digital Economy Development Committee, DEDC, chaired by me, has undertaken in-depth studies on promoting the development of digital economy over the past 2 years. The DEDC's report covers recommendations on many years, including promotion of digital policies, initiatives for enhancing digital infrastructure, facilitation of the safe and orderly flow of usage of data, acceleration of enterprise digital transformation, and talent development. Some of these recommendations have been implemented, including making preparations for the establishment of the Digital Policy Office. Build a data trading ecosystem. As transformation of global digitalization accelerates, the presence of a highly efficient data ecosystem has become one of the considerations for many enterprises to establish a foothold in Hong Kong. Building a mechanism that facilitates data trading is particularly important in the data ecosystem. Hong Kong is underpinned by its distinctive advantages under one country, two systems, and endowed with the characteristics of an international city. From supply and demand of data to application scenarios, we are equipped with a robust foundation and possess an abundance of favorable conditions for developing international data trading. We have commissioned an expert group to undertake an in-depth study on how to develop a robust data trading ecosystem in Hong Kong, the scope of which includes Hong Kong's role as a superconnector in data trading, as well as promoting the formulation of international data trading rules. The aim is to enable us to unleash the potential of data elements and facilitate its development into a new industry with an enormous growth momentum, hence empowering the upgrading and transformation of traditional industries. Digital finance. Digital technology has turned new financial business models into reality. Digital finance, through integrating data and technological innovations in different use case scenarios, can complement traditional financial services in enabling wider service access and enhancing the inclusiveness of financial services. The Hong Kong MA completed Phase 1 of the e-Hong Kong Dollar pilot program last October and has studied domestic retail use cases in various areas such as programmable payments, offline payments, and tokenized deposits. Phase 2 of the pilot program will soon commence to further explore new use cases. Project Ambridge, another important initiative, has also achieved good progress. Phase 1 of its service, which is expected to be launched this year, will become one of the first projects around the world to settle cross-boundary transactions for corporates using central bank digital currencies. In addition, we will expand the scope of ECNY pilot testing in Hong Kong. Members of the public may set up ECNY wallets easily for use and for topping up funds by the faster payment system, thereby further enhancing the efficiency and user experience of cross-boundary payment services, promote cross-boundary data flow. The ITIB and the Cyber-Based Administration of China launched an early and pilot implementation arrangement for the standard contract for the cross-boundary flow of personal information within the Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau, Greater Bay Area, mainland Hong Kong last December. During the first phase of implementation, we have invited the banking, credit referencing, and healthcare sectors to participate, and their responses have been very positive. Having regard to outcomes of the pilot implementation in the first phase, we will gradually extend the coverage of the facilitation measures so that the various business actors of both places may leverage cross-boundary data with a smoother flow, thereby providing more cross-boundary services for the convenience of the public and enterprises. Cross-boundary public services. To further facilitate access to the public services of Guangdong and Hong Kong by residents and enterprises in Hong Kong and the GBA, we collaborated with Guangdong Province to launch the Cross-Boundary Public Services thematic website. We also connected IAM-Smart with the Unified Identity Authentication Platform of Guangdong Province in November last year. Having set up IAM-Smart registration service counters in Guangzhou as well as in Tianhai and Futian and Shenzhen, we have also introduced a first self-service kiosk for Hong Kong's cross-boundary public services in Guangzhou. This will facilitate Hong Kong residents and enterprises in the GBA cities to access the cross-boundary public services and register for IAM-Smart. Web 3.0. In last year's budget, I proposed to expedite development of the Web 3.0 ecosystem. We have made good progress over the past year. At present, there are over 220 enterprises specializing in related technologies in Cyberport, including 3 unicorns. Last year, Cyberport organized a number of promotional and educational activities, attracting more than 29,000 participants. It also rolled out a subsidy scheme to encourage enterprises to conduct proof-of-concept testing with a view to accelerating market application of the relevant technologies. Having successfully issued the first batch of inaugural tokenized green bonds in February 2023, we issued a second batch of tokenized green bonds in early February this year, worth a total of $6 billion and denominated in Hong Kong dollar, renminbi, RMB, US dollar, and euro. This is the world's first ever multi-currency tokenized bond issuance and has attracted overwhelming subscription by global institutional investors, including asset managers, insurance companies, private banks, and non-financial corporates. Apart from the many technological innovations, we have also achieved breakthroughs in this issuance in areas such as broadening investor participation and streamlining issuance process. In keeping abreast of the latest international trends and market development, we consulted the public on a legislative proposal to develop a regulatory regime for stablecoin issuers in end 2023, with the aim of putting in place a regulatory regime that safeguards financial stability without compromising innovation. The Hong Kong MA will soon roll out a sandbox for entities interested in issuing stablecoins to conduct trials under manageable conditions on the issuance process, business models, investor protection, and risk management system. The sandbox will also facilitate communication on future regulatory requirements. Cybersecurity, alongside investor and customer protection, are matters of utmost importance in Web 3.0 development. Embracing the principle of same activity, same risk, same regulation, the SFC has implemented a licensing regime for virtual asset VA trading platforms since last June. This regime enables investors to conduct trading on licensed trading platforms in compliance with the relevant international standards in a protected environment, thereby enabling Hong Kong to surpass many major jurisdictions in regulation of VA trading. To strengthen investor and customer protection, we have launched a consultation on the regulation of over-the-counter trading of VA. We will continue to promote the development of Hong Kong's VA market in a stable and responsible manner through a multi-pronged approach, which includes timely dissemination of information, holistic public education, and enhanced enforcement. Launch the business version of IAM-Smart. The government will set up a digital identity of enterprises platform, that is, the business version of IAM-Smart, to enable authentication of identity and verification of signature of enterprises using electronic government services or conducting online business transactions in a secure, convenient, and efficient manner without having to go through complicated procedures, and thus saving time and reducing the risk of human error. The expenditure involved is estimated to be about $300 million, and our goal is to roll out the platform progressively from end 2026 onwards. Promote digital inclusion. Moreover, we strive to reduce digital exclusion and promote the wider use of information technology by various community groups, including elderly persons. The government will allocate $100 million under the Social Innovation and Entrepreneurship Development Fund to provide, in the next 3 years, elderly people aged 60 or above with digital training courses and technical support so that they can integrate into the digital era more easily and enjoy the benefits that digital technology brings. The first group of projects is expected to commence in the fourth quarter of 2024 at the earliest and benefit and at least 50,000 elderly persons.
International Innovation and Technology Center. INT is a key engine driving our economy and society towards high-quality development. The Hong Kong Innovation and Technology Development Blueprint, promulgated in 2022, formulates strategic plans and clear roadmaps for Hong Kong's INT development over the next 5 to 10 years, leading Hong Kong steadily towards its vision of becoming an international INT center. The government has committed substantial resources to building a vibrant INT ecosystem by focusing on enhancing INT infrastructure, research capacity, talent, etc. The Hong Kong Science Park and Cyberport are INT flagships and incubators of the city. As at the end of 2023, the number of tenants of these two flagships, together with past and current incubatees, amounted to some 4,500, an increase of more than 60% over the past 5 years. Among them, 16 have been listed, 9 have become unicorns, and a total of some $130 billion has been raised, while more than 1,700 local and non-local awards have been won. Artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, as an important driver of a new round of technological and industrial transformation, is also key to propelling the development of digital economy in Hong Kong. Cyberport is expediting the establishment of an AI supercomputing center to meet the demand of research institute and the industry for computing power. The first phase facility is expected to start operating within this year at the earliest. By early 2026 at the soonest, the computing power of the supercomputing facility is expected to reach 3,000 petaflops. The scale of such power is equivalent to the capacity of processing nearly 10 billion images in 1 hour. We will allocate $3 billion to Cyberport for the launch of a 3-year AI subsidy scheme to support local universities, research institutes, and enterprises to leverage the center's computing power and achieve scientific breakthroughs. The subsidy will also be used to strengthen the cybersecurity and data protection of the center and launch promotional and educational activities, etc., to encourage mainland and overseas AI experts, enterprises, and R&D projects to come to Hong Kong. R&D of microelectronics. With an increasing demand for semiconductors worldwide, the scale of related industries is expected to grow continuously and exceed $1 trillion by 2030. To capture a market with such huge potential and dovetail with a national strategy for technological development, the government is fostering R&D of microelectronics. We will establish the Hong Kong Microelectronics Research and Development Institute this year. It will spearhead and facilitate research collaboration on the third-generation semiconductors among universities, R&D centers, and the industries, and to realize R&D outcomes by making use of the comprehensive manufacturing industry chain in the Greater Bay Area. Life and health technology. With solid basic research capabilities in life and health technology, Hong Kong is home to world-class experts, top-notch medical schools, R&D centers, and laboratories. We are well equipped to develop into an international life and health technology center. Set up Life and Health Technology Research Institute. In the previous budget, I earmarked $10 billion to promote the development of life and health technology. Of this, $6 billion will be used to provide subsidies for local universities to collaborate with mainland and overseas organizations to set up Life and Health Technology Research Institute. The purpose is to facilitate relevant R&D activities and transformation of R&D outcomes and to attract leading R&D talent and research teams around the world to Hong Kong. Strengthen clinical trial platform. The government will set up the Greater Bay Area International Clinical Trial Institute in the Hetao, Shenzhen, Hong Kong Science and Technology Innovation Cooperation Zone this year. It will provide one-stop support to attract more local, mainland, and overseas pharmaceutical and medical device enterprises to conduct clinical trials in Hong Kong. We will also actively seek support from the National Medical Products Administration for record filing so that such data can be used for these enterprises when applying for marketing authorization for their products in the mainland. Establish primary evaluation. The new mechanism for registering new drugs, or 1+ mechanism, came into effect on the 1st of November 2023. This allows for new drugs for life-threatening or severely debilitating diseases to be registered in Hong Kong with the submission of only one certificate of pharmaceutical product issued by reference drug regulatory authorities, subject to the fulfillment of specific requirements. The Department of Health has approved 2 new drugs for registration under this mechanism, bringing new hope of treatment to patients. The 1+ mechanism is an important step in progressing towards a primary evaluation approach. This approach enables us to directly approve applications for registration of drugs and medical devices locally used based on clinical data without relying on other drug regulatory authorities. The government is committed to establishing the Hong Kong Center for Medical Products Regulation. The preparatory office will be set up in the first half of this year to study the restructuring and the strengthening of the current regulatory and approval regimes for drugs, medical devices, and medical technologies. The objective is to establish a standalone statutory body that is internationally recognized so as to accelerate clinical application of new drugs and medical devices. It will also drive the development of emerging industries engaging in the R&D and testing of drugs and medical devices. New industrialization development. Driven by information, new industrialization leverages advanced technologies such as AI, data analytics, and new materials to support enterprises in moving towards smart production and develop emerging industries with high value adding potential and economic efficiency. We will launch a $10 billion new industrialization acceleration scheme this year. Enterprises engaging in life and health technology, AI, and data science, advanced manufacturing, and new energy technology will each be provided with funding support of up to $200 million on a matching basis of 1 from the government to 2 from the enterprise. Applicant enterprises shall invest no less than $200 million in Hong Kong. Apart from the above funding support on a matching basis, enterprises participating in the NIAS may receive subsidies to engage research talent under the Research Talent Hub. They may also, on a pilot basis, engage a small number of non-local technical personnel under the Technology Talent Admission Scheme to expedite the setup and operation of advanced manufacturing facilities in Hong Kong. It is anticipated that the NIAS will attract 50 to 100 enterprises engaging in relevant industries to invest no less than $20 billion in Hong Kong. Hong Kong Shenzhen Innovation and Technology Park. Hong Kong Shenzhen Innovation and Technology Park in the Lok Ma Chau Loop enables Hong Kong to play an active part in the GBA development, better integrate into overall national development and forge closer connections overseas. While the first batch of buildings in the HSITP will commence operation progressively by the end of this year, various tasks such as attracting enterprises, investment, and talent are underway. We will continue to support the development of the HSITP and are drafting the white paper on the development of the HSITP in the loop, targeting to be announced this year. InnoLife Health Tech Hub. We will set up the InnoLife Health Tech Hub in the HSITP to attract top-notch research teams and talent from around the world, with a focus on life and health disciplines to conduct research. This will be conducive to the development of international I&T center in the Loop and the GBA. We will allocate $2 billion from the $10 billion earmarked to support the InnoHK research clusters to establish presence in the Loop. We will also allocate $200 million to provide assistance to startups engaging in life and health technology in the form of incubation and acceleration programs, etc. Nurturing startups. In the Global Startup Ecosystem Report 2023, Hong Kong ranked 2nd in the world and 1st in Asia in the emerging startup ecosystems category. The number of startups rose to nearly 4,300 last year, about a 4-fold increase compared to 2014. Over the same period, the number of people employed by related startups increased by about 7 times to over 16,000. Since its inception, the corporate venture fund under the Hong Kong Science and Technology Parks Corporation has invested a total of nearly $400 million in 31 startups and attracted private investment of about $12.6 $1.6 billion. The HKSTPC will soon launch the co-acceleration program to pool the efforts of the INT industry and provide value-added support services to INT startups with high potential and to nurture them as regional or global enterprises. R&D and transformation in INT. Frontier Technology Research Infrastructure Support Scheme. We will launch a Frontier Technology Research Infrastructure Support Scheme to assist the 8 University Grants Committee funded universities on a matching basis in procuring facilities and conducting research projects which cover various fields such as AI, quantum information, integrated circuit, clinical medicine and health, and gene and biotechnology. To this end, we will allocate $3 billion from the sum earmarked in the past. Strengthen support for technology transfer. To enable universities to strengthen technology transfer and marketing services, we will provide subsidies of no more than $16 million to the Technology Transfer Office of each of the 8 UGC-funded universities from 2024 to 25 onwards. Enhancing INT infrastructure. Batch 1 of Stage 2 of the Science Park Expansion Program, which will provide a gross floor area of about 13,000 square meters, mainly for wet laboratories, is expected to be completed in the first quarter of next year. The Cyberport 5 expansion project, which will provide a GFA of about 66,000 square meters for co-working spaces and offices, etc., is expected to be completed by the end of next year at the earliest. Together with the INT sites in the loop to be put into use progressively, there will be more room for local INT ecosystem to prosper. International Financial Center. A highly efficient financial market accelerates the development of the real economy by effectively matching capital with the needs of industry. The financial industry is one of the pillars of Hong Kong's economy. Hong Kong, as an international financial center, is also our country's international financial center, having an edge in quantity and quality that enables various financial areas to thrive. Offshore renminbi business hub. Our country is the world's second largest economy. The proportion of RMB as a global currency for international trade, investment and financing, cross-border payment and reserves is increasing continuously. As the mainland develops closer economic ties with other regions, market demand for RMB is becoming keener than ever. As the world's largest offshore RMB business hub, Hong Kong processes about 75% of global offshore RMB settlement. We also have the world's largest offshore RMB liquidity pool at over 1 trillion RMB. To capitalize on this enormous opportunity, we will press ahead with the development of an offshore RMB ecosystem to promote the internationalization of the RMB in a steady and prudent manner. We are taking forward relevant work on various fronts. It includes making continuous efforts to deepen mutual market access schemes that facilitate RMB cross-boundary investment and two-way fund flows to enhance offshore RMB liquidity. It also includes encouraging financial institutions to provide more offshore RMB products and risk management tools and carrying out RMB financing in Hong Kong. We will also develop the Central Money Markets Unit, or CMU, into Asia's major international central securities depository platform. It will provide better support for RMB businesses such as cross-border clearing, settlement and custodian services, etc. Mutual market access. Mutual market access between financial markets in the mainland and Hong Kong has been expanding in scope and capacity. Bond Connect, the cross-boundary wealth management Connect scheme, ETFs in Stock Connect and Swap Connect are among the many opportunities that have been implemented one after another in recent years. The initiatives provide more asset allocation and risk management options for mainland and international investors. This year, HKEX will host the 10th anniversary of Mutual Access Forum to share our experience with the industry and explore how best to inject new impetus into the regime. We will stage a series of roadshows in the mainland to promote mutual market access further. We are now in discussion with mainland authorities over the introduction of block trading, the inclusion of RMB counters under the southbound trading of Stock Connect, and the expansion of the mutual market access regime to cover REITs, bringing in more enterprises and capital to the Hong Kong market. Asset and Wealth Management Center. Hong Kong is an international asset and wealth management center with assets under management amounting to more than $30 trillion. It is also Asia's largest hedge fund center and the second largest center for private equity management after the mainland. Currently, there are more than 250 open-end fund companies and 780 limited partnership funds registered in Hong Kong. To drive market development, the government will extend the grant scheme for open-end fund companies and real estate investment trusts for 3 years and set up a task force to discuss with the industry measures for further developing the asset and wealth management industry. Attracting global family offices and asset owners to Hong Kong will help bring in more capital and drive ancillary economic activities. We have implemented a number of measures, including providing tax concessions for qualifying transactions of family-owned investment holding vehicles managed by single-family offices in Hong Kong and streamlining the suitability assessment when dealing with sophisticated professional investors. The new capital investment entrance scheme will soon invite applications. Eligible investors who invest 27 million Hong Kong dollars or more in qualifying assets and place $3 million into a new CIES investment portfolio may apply to reside in and pursue development in Hong Kong. The new CIES will help strengthen our advantages in developing the asset and wealth management industry and related professional service sectors in Hong Kong while supporting the INT sector's development. We are setting the stage for the second Wealth for Good in Hong Kong Summit in the end of March in a bid to showcase Hong Kong's unique advantages to global family offices and asset owners. In addition, we will further enhance the preferential tax regimes for related funds, single-family offices, and carried interest, including reviewing the scope of the tax concession regimes, increasing the types of qualifying transactions, and enhancing flexibility in handling incidental transactions, all to attract more funds and family offices with potential to establish a presence in Hong Kong. Securities market. We are keen to foster the development of the securities market into one with greater depth, breadth, and vibrancy, thereby consolidating and enhancing market competitiveness. I have explained this in detail in paragraphs about reviving our economy. Bond market. As a long-standing leader in bond issuance in Asia, Hong Kong has ranked first in the region for 7 consecutive years in terms of the volume of international bond issuance. In the last budget, I proposed to expand the scope of the government green bond program to cover sustainable finance products or project and to take forward the infrastructure bond scheme to raise capital for infrastructure projects, thereby facilitating the early completion of projects for the good of the economy and people's livelihood. We will set a borrowing ceiling of a total of $500 billion for these 2 programs to allow more flexibility in quota reallocation. The sums borrowed will be credited to the Capital Works Reserve Fund for investment in projects which are conducive to long-term development. These 2 programs will gradually replace the existing government bond program. In 2024-25, we will issue $120 billion worth of bond, of which $70 billion will be retail tranche that includes $50 billion worth of silver bond and $20 billion worth of green bonds and infrastructure bonds to achieve financial inclusiveness and enhance a sense of participation in infrastructure and sustainable development among the public. Deepen financial cooperation in the GBA. The Cross-Boundary Wealth Management Connect scheme in the GBA has seen continuous and steady development. WMC 2.0 was officially launched earlier this week, introducing such enhancement measures as increasing the individual investor quota to RMB 3 million and lowering the threshold for participating in the southbound scheme. To help enterprises secure financing in the GBA more easily, the HKMA and mainland regulatory authorities will continue to build a collaborative framework on cross-boundary credit referencing. Through such collaboration, the banks of both places, upon consent from corporate customers, will be allowed to access the credit data of relevant corporations so that credit assessment can be conducted in a more secure and efficient manner. Specialty insurance market. As an international risk management center, Hong Kong provides diversified risk management channels, including professional insurance services. We have been making dedicated efforts to invite mainland and overseas enterprises to establish captive insurers in Hong Kong, enhancing their corporate risk management capabilities. We are also promoting the development of insurance-linked securities by establishing a dedicated regulatory regime and launching a pilot grant scheme. To date, we have facilitated the issuance of 4 catastrophe bonds in Hong Kong, one of which marked the inaugural listing of its type of ILS. We will continue to attract more issuing institutes to Hong Kong while nurturing talent and propelling the industry's development. Create strong impetus for growth in the financial services industry. To bolster the competitiveness and advantages of the financial services industry in Hong Kong, the government will earmark $100 million to promote the sustainable development of financial services. This includes green and sustainable finance, fintech, asset and wealth management, headquarters business, and risk management, etc. International Trade Center. The international trade landscape is in a constant state of flux. In recent times, Hong Kong's total exports have seen their share of the Europe and US markets decline, while our exports to developing countries such as those in ASEAN and the Middle East is on the rise. At the same time, mainland manufacturing enterprises are increasingly using production capabilities both at home and abroad as multinational supply chains for manufacturing products to be exported to overseas market. Hong Kong is equipped to seize the opportunities arising from these changes. Multinational supply chain management. In line with the trend of mainland manufacturing enterprises extending their production supply chains abroad, our goal is to develop Hong Kong into a multinational supply chain management center. As a premier financial and commercial center in the region, Hong Kong has the capacity to offer full-fledged and comprehensive professional support services to enterprises to meet their overseas business needs. These services are of utmost importance to enterprises seeking to go global, particularly those with less overseas experience. Consulting services. The Hong Kong Trade Development Council has been providing various services through different schemes covering business operations, production and supply chain solutions, market information, and other consulting services. All this helps to support mainland enterprises based in Hong Kong to establish a foothold in the Belt and Road Initiative countries. Trade financing. Mainland enterprises with operations in Hong Kong can also utilize various services provided by the Hong Kong Export Credit Insurance Corporation, including export credit insurance, surveys on buyers, and sharing of market updates to meet their business operation needs. The commercial data interchange launched earlier by the HKMA and its project, mBridge, allow enterprises to apply trade financing and cross-border settlement services at a lower cost and with higher efficiency. Corporate training. Hong Kong's business sector possesses rich knowledge and profound experience in managing multinational supply chains as well as handling compliance, labor protection, environmental protection, and other requirements of overseas markets. We will facilitate collaboration between different organizations and industry stakeholders to provide environmental, social, and corporate governance training, etc. to mainland enterprises seeking to expand their reach to overseas markets. This will help them build goodwill with business partners and expand their markets. In order to enhance our work on this front, the Commerce and Economic Development Bureau, in coordination with Team Hong Kong organizations, will work together to study relevant details, including the establishment of a trade single window to provide one-stop services for enterprises. Invest Hong Kong will also step up efforts to attract mainland manufacturing enterprises to set up offices in Hong Kong to serve as headquarters for managing their offshore trading. Explore markets. The government has been expanding Hong Kong's economic and trade network overseas to help the business sector explore emerging markets. To strengthen our economic and trade relations with the Middle East, the government is conducting negotiations with Saudi Arabia on an investment promotion and protection agreement and considering establishing an economic and trade office in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. 2 consultant offices will also be set up in Turkey and Egypt this year to bring in foreign capital and enterprises. Meanwhile, Hong Kong has concluded the IPPA negotiations with Bahrain and will soon sign a comprehensive double taxation agreement with it. ASEAN is another priority strategic partner with whom we seek to enhance our engagement. The government is considering establishing an ETO in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. As for other markets, we are negotiating a free free trade agreement with Peru and an IPPA with Bangladesh. Furthermore, the HKTDC will set up 2 consultant offices along the BNR to enhance trade promotion in emerging countries. Belt and Road. The BNR initiative promulgated by our country has entered its second golden decade. Hong Kong will continue to give full play to its role as a functional platform for the BNR. To this end, we will actively participate in and contribute to fostering high-quality development, especially in green development as well as innovation and technology. Apart from continuing to host the annual Belt and Road Summit in September, a new Belt and Road Festival will be launched. The festival will promote collaboration with BNR countries in a wide range of areas, including trade and investment, technology, art and culture, and talent exchange. Hong Kong will also host the Conference on Belt and Road Initiative Tax Administration Cooperation Forum, which will be attended by representatives of the government, international organizations, academic institutions, and strategic enterprises of BNR regions. It will provide a platform for attendees to establish connections and exchange ideas, thereby promoting tax administration, cooperation, and capacity building. Besides, more outbound missions will be organized, including visits to the mainland for enterprises of BNR countries which are operating in Hong Kong to explore business opportunities. Regional Intellectual Property Trading Center. The effective protection and efficient transaction of IP is important to promote industries such as R&D, cultural and creative industries, design services, and brand licensing industries in Hong Kong. In fact, for the past 3 years, the Intellectual Property Department granted an average of more than 10,000 standard patent registrations each year, which is a clear indication of the enormous potential of the IP trading market in Hong Kong. The government will introduce into the Legislative Council in the first half of 2024 a proposal to amend the Inland Revenue Ordinance with a view to implementing the patent box tax incentive, which will reduce substantially the tax rate for profits derived from qualifying IP to 5%. This incentive aims to encourage enterprises to devote more resources to R&D and conduct commercialization transactions, making use of patent and other IP protections. Participate in dedicated program of World Intellectual Property Organization. We are planning for the establishment of a WIPO Technology and Innovation Support Center in Hong Kong to enable our integration into the country's TISC network. The TISC will focus on providing specialized services such as patent search and analysis for the protection of scientific research results and enhanced support to the INT sector. While promoting IP trading at the same time, the TISC also helps nurture local INT talent well-versed in patent knowledge. In this regard, I have set aside $45 million to support the Hong Kong Productivity Council to establish and operating the TISC. It is anticipated that the TISC will commence operation by 2025 at the earliest.
香港朋
International Maritime Center. Currently, around 90% of the world's merchandise goods are transported by sea. With its advantageous geographical location, unique institutional strengths, and extensive experience and network in international trade and commerce, Hong Kong enjoys a prime position in the shipping market, supported by the National 14th Five-Year Plan and the Outline Development Plan for the Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau GBA. The government promulgated the Action Plan on Maritime and Port Development Strategy, Action Plan, in December last year. The Action Plan formulates 10 strategies and 32 action measures to support the sustainable development of Hong Kong's maritime and port industry, with a view to enhancing the long-term competitiveness of the industry. It also consolidates and strengthens Hong Kong's position as an international maritime center. Develop high-value-added maritime services. One of the directions set out in the action plan is to develop high-value-added maritime services. Over the past few years, the government has introduced a series of tax concession measures for the maritime industry in the areas of ship leasing, marine insurance, ship agency, ship management, shipbroking, and so forth, which have begun to yield results. We will commence studies on further enhancements within this year. In addition, Hong Kong's ship registration regime is widely recognized internationally. Hong Kong ranks 4th in the world in terms of gross tonnage and excels in its high-quality fleet. The port state control detention rate of Hong Kong registered ships is much lower than the global average. We plan to offer block registration incentive to attract ship owners to register ships in Hong Kong extensively. The government will amend the relevant regulations regarding this incentive starting this year and provide an outline of the incentive rules, eligibility criteria, and so forth. Modern logistics development. The government seeks to assist the logistics industry in better capitalizing on the latest developments and business opportunities in smart logistics and e-commerce. To encourage the logistics industry to enhance productivity through technology application, the government launched a $300 million pilot subsidy scheme for third-party logistics service providers in 2020 to provide subsidies to eligible logistics service providers. So far, the scheme has benefited over 190 enterprises, involving a total of about $137 million. The scheme was enhanced in February this year, with the funding ceiling for each applicant enterprise increased from $1 million to $2 million, and the scope of funding extended to cover services related to the application of ESG technology solutions. International Aviation Hub. Hong Kong International Airport, Hong Kong IA, has about 120 airlines operating flights to some 180 destinations worldwide. With Hong Kong's role as an international aviation hub and tapping into the convenience and opportunities brought about by the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge, our vision is to transform Hong Kong IA into an airport city integrating commerce, conventions and exhibitions, tourism, lifestyle, logistics, and more, shaping it into a world-class landmark. Open up a new aviation hinterland. The AA is working full steam ahead with the Hong Kong IA on the 3-runway system 3RS project as scheduled, with a target of commissioning at the end of the year. Leveraging the opportunities brought about by the 3RS and our country's support for the Air Silk Road, we will focus on current major routes and routes along the BNR with potential, thus strengthening aviation services between Hong Kong and related countries, and in doing so, expand our aviation network. Intermodal transport. The AA will make comprehensive use of Hong Kong IA's advantages in handling high-value, temperature-controlled air cargo. We are taking forward the development of a sea-air intermodal cargo transshipment mode in collaboration with Dongguan. Its handling capacity will gradually reach 1 million tons per annum, better fulfilling the GBA's international cargo demand, with first phase construction of the permanent facility of the Hong Kong IA Logistics Park, which is scheduled for completion by the end of next year. Asia's aviation logistics base. The AA will actively expand air cargo services, including handling cold chain cargo at its logistics park in Dongguan and collaborating with Zhuhai to develop its international cargo business. It will also attract international cargo forwarders and major global retailers to set up their Asian aviation logistics base in Hong Kong. Center for International Legal and Dispute Resolution Services in the Asia-Pacific region. As the only common law jurisdiction in China, Hong Kong enjoys a robust legal system and a pool of elite legal talent, which are cornerstones of Hong Kong's premier business environment and provide us with new opportunities for development. With the staunch support from the central government, the International Organization for Mediation, IOMED, upon establishment, will have its headquarters hosted in Hong Kong. IOMED, specializing in resolving international disputes by means of mediation, will be the first international intergovernmental organization to set up headquarters in Hong Kong. This will attract dispute parties, mediators, and legal professionals to conduct mediation in Hong Kong, which will in turn boost other related economic activities. Furthermore, the Department of Justice and DOJ will continue to promote Hong Kong's legal and dispute resolution services by organizing international conferences and exchange activities, as well as leading delegations of legal professionals to visit the mainland, the Middle East, ASEAN member states, etc. East meets the West Center for International Cultural Exchange. Hong Kong is a diverse and open community. It is a melting pot of Chinese and Western cultures, where modernity blends with tradition. The government is committed to developing high-quality arts, cultural, and creative industries through continuously developing relevant sectors, promoting Chinese culture, and fostering arts and cultural exchanges between China and the rest of the world. The government will soon promulgate the blueprint for arts and culture and creative industries development to outline the vision and specific initiatives for the work. Creative arts branding. The government will inject about $1.4 billion and $2.9 billion into the Film Development Fund and the Create Smart initiative, respectively, in 2024 to 25, to support projects in various areas such as film, arts, and design. Among them, the government will organize the Hong Kong Fashion Design Week annually from 2024 onwards. It is our vision to turn Hong Kong Fashion Design Week into an Asian fashion design mega event, thereby introducing Hong Kong's fashion design brands internationally. Signature Performing Arts Programs. The government has announced the launch of the Signature Performing Arts Program scheme. The scheme will support production of representative and large-scale local signature performance arts programs to be staged as long-running performances and become another cultural icon of Hong Kong. Culture, Sports and Tourism Bureau will devise the key arrangements of the Signature Performance Arts Program scheme in the first half of 2024. Large-scale arts events. We will organize the first Hong Kong Performing Arts Expo, Hong Kong PAX, in October this year to provide a comprehensive platform for showcasing top-notch performing arts productions and enhancing exchanges to create business opportunities for these programs and creative talents. We will also organize the fourth Guangdong Hong Kong Macau GBA Culture and Arts Festival, with more than 100 arts and cultural activities taking place in Hong Kong and different cities of the GBA. The festival is expected to feature about 5,000 artists and draw a total of 140,000 visitors. Nurturing local talent. Talent as a prime resource is the fundamental driving force that underpins the development of our economy in various sectors. While proactively attracting talent from around the world, we must continue our efforts in nurturing local talent. Apart from supporting post-secondary institutions to enhance their quality and expand their capacity, we will continue to take forward a number of sector-specific talent training programs to enrich the local talent pool. INT talent. Apart from supporting various talent training programs under new industrialization development, we have also implemented the STEM internship scheme to encourage university students to participate in INT-related work. Besides, to better prepare for integration into the knowledge-based economy and development of a digital society, the government has launched a Knowing More About IT program to enhance primary school students' interests in information technology and its applications. In this connection, I propose to allocate an additional funding of $134 million for the provision of subsidies of up to $300,000 for each publicly funded primary school in the next 2 academic years. Healthcare professionals. The government attaches importance to training local healthcare professionals. The Health Bureau will continue to enhance healthcare-related teaching facilities while increasing the number of local training places as appropriate. Since last April, we have also started to subsidize the relevant institutions in respect of the clinical practicum training fees for their specified healthcare-related programs. On the other front, since the announcement of an additional injection of $500 million into the Chinese Medicine Development Fund in last year's budget, a number of capacity-building initiatives for the industry have been taken forward under the fund, such as a Hong Kong Chinese Medicine Talent Short-Term Training Program co-organized with the National Administration of Traditional Chinese Medicine in support of building an excellent pool of Chinese medicine talent. Maritime and aviation talent. The government introduced a professional training on smart and green logistics scheme and the logistics promotion funding scheme under the Maritime and Aviation Training Fund MATF in January this year. These schemes aim to enhance promotion and talent development in the logistics sector in line with new development in smart and green logistics. We also launched the Aviation Promotion Project funding scheme to fund activities organized by local aviation-related organizations and academic institutions, while promoting to different sectors of the community the development of our aviation industry and the opportunities available. The TLB will conduct a comprehensive review of the MATF this year to gauge its effectiveness in attracting talent and promoting manpower development in the maritime and aviation sectors. Patent talent. The government will allocate an additional funding of about $12 million in total to the IPD over the next 3 years to prepare for the introduction of regulatory arrangements for local patent agent services. Our aim is to enhance the professionalism and support the development of the original grant patent system. The government will also continue to strengthen and enlarge its patent examiner team and enhance its substantive examination capability with a view to acquiring institutional autonomy and conducting substantive patent examination in 2030 and a national legal talent. In order to nurture legal talent with an international perspective and good knowledge of different legal systems, the DOJ will set up a dedicated office and an expert group this year to take forward the establishment of the Hong Kong International Legal Talent Training Academy. Land and housing supply. Land supply. The 2024-25 land sale program will cover a total of 8 residential sites. There will also be railway property developments, private development and redevelopment projects, as well as projects undertaken by the URA. Taken together, the potential land supply for the whole year is expected to have a capacity for providing about 15,000 units, exceeding the annual demand of 13,200 units projected in the long-term housing strategy by about 14%. The land sale program will also include 2 commercial sites and 1 industrial site capable of providing about 120,000 square meters of commercial floor area and 540,000 square meters of industrial floor area, respectively. We will take into account the market situation when deciding on the quantity and types of land to be put up for sale, as well as the pace of sale. We will make available land for the production of no less than 80,000 private housing units in the coming 5 years. Such land will be put to the market in a timely manner. Among them, about 60% comes from new development areas, NDA, new town extensions, with another 40% from government land sale and railway property development projects in other districts. Housing supply. On public housing supply, the government has identified sufficient land for meeting the supply target of 308,000 public housing units over the next 10 years, from 2024 to 25 to 2033 to 24, among which, as at the end of last year, construction of about 105,000 units under the Hong Kong Housing Authority has commenced with satisfactory progress. In view of the fact that the cash allowance trial scheme is due to expire by mid-2024, the government has decided to extend the scheme for 1 year until June 2025 to help grassroots families on the waiting list for public rental housing. The scheme will be subject to further review in due course. On private housing supply, we estimate that the completion of private residential units will average over 90,000 annually in the 5 years from 2024, representing an increase of about 15% over the annual average of the past 5 years. The potential supply of first-hand private residential units for the next 3 to 4 years will be around 109,000 units. Transport infrastructure. It is the government's vision to build a livable, competitive, and sustainable Hong Kong by adopting the planning principle of infrastructure-led and capacity creating. We are taking forward in an orderly manner the railway and major road projects settled in the Hong Kong Major Transport Infrastructure Development Blueprint to bolster connectivity between districts and unleash their development potential. At the same time, the government plans to put in place smart and green mass transit systems in East Kowloon, Kai Tak, and Hung Shui Kiu, Hachun. We will invite within the year the relevant suppliers and operators to submit expressions of interest. To further promote the connectivity of infrastructure within the GBA, the government will continue to work with the Shenzhen authorities through the Task Force for Hong Kong-Shenzhen Cooperation on Cross-Boundary Railway Infrastructure. We will take forward 2 cross-boundary projects, namely the Hong Kong-Shenzhen Western Rail Link Hung Shui Kiu to Tianhai and the Northern Link Spur Line to jointly develop the concept of GBA on the rail. Meanwhile, to raise productivity of the construction industry, a cross-departmental steering committee under the Development Bureau will soon formulate various measures to enhance the application of modular integrated construction, MIC. We will strengthen the collaboration with the Guangdong provincial government to enhance the manufacturing, import-export facilitation, and exportability of MIC modules, with a view to developing MIC as one of the industries in the GBA that enjoy clear advantages. The government of the Hong Kong SAR will also examine the feasibility of investing in the MIC supply chain. Moreover, the Development Bureau will also set up the Building, Testing, and Research Institute within this year to promote innovative application in the industry. Healthcare. The government attaches great importance to the well-being of members of the public and is committed to maintaining Hong Kong's high-quality healthcare profession and its efficient healthcare system. We devote significant resources to the healthcare portfolio. The 2024 to 25 estimated recurring expenditure for healthcare is $109.5 billion, accounting for about 19% of government recurring expenditure. The government will continue to pursue transformation with innovation with a view to protecting the health of all citizens, further developing primary healthcare, enhancing the quality of medical services, and promoting the development of the healthcare industry. The government has been improving public healthcare services and enhancing the patient experience on various fronts and with specific performance indicators. These include shortening the waiting time for specialist outpatient services and making wider use of telehealth services. The performance indicators of certain services, including medication delivery and electronic medical certificates, were met early last year. development of Chinese medicine, CM. The government provides resources and implements a variety of measures to promote CM. These include increasing the quota of government-subsidized CM outpatient services, extending integrated Chinese Western medicine services, promoting scientific research on CM, and setting relevant standards. We are pressing ahead with the construction of the CM Hospital and the Government CM Testing Institute. The two institutions are expected to begin service starting from the end of 2025 in phases. Tobacco control policies. Increasing tobacco duty is recognized internationally as the most effective means of reducing tobacco use. The government now proposes to increase the duty on cigarettes by 80 cents per stick with immediate effect. Duties on other tobacco products will be increased by the same proportion. The rate of increase is similar to that of last year. We expect that the proportion of tobacco duty in the retail price of cigarettes will rise to about 70%, gradually approaching the 75% level recommended by the WHO. This will provide a greater incentive for the public to quit smoking, safeguarding public health. We will continue to step up enforcement against illicit cigarette trading and strengthen smoking cessation services, publicity, and education. A caring and inclusive community. Youth development. Young people are Hong Kong's future. Hong Kong will prosper only when its young people thrive. The government is actively implementing the various actions and measures set out in the Youth Development Blueprint in phases. We will also open up more mainland and overseas exchange and internship opportunities for young people. Our target is to benefit no less than 30,000 youth this year, enabling young people to learn about our country's major development trends and broaden their global exposure. The government will also organize the Youth Development Summit in mid this year. Mainland and overseas youth organizations will be invited to exchange views on issues of concern to young people and to engage in mutual learning. It is anticipated that more than 1,000 people will participate in the summit. Vocational and Professional Education and Training, VPET. The government will continue to foster industry institution collaboration and diversified development to enhance VPET. The government has set aside some $680 million to support the Vocational Training Council's efforts. Initiatives include extending the pilot incentive scheme to employers and a pilot subsidy scheme for students of professional part-time programs for 5 years, as well as stepping up support for student exchange activities, strengthening assistance to students with special educational needs, and encouraging employers to provide workplace learning opportunities, etc. Furthermore, the government has also set aside a startup fund of $100 million to support self-financing post-secondary institutions in forming an alliance of universities and applied sciences for joint publicity and promotion of VPET, and raise the status of VPET among parents, students, and society in general. Caring for the elderly, the government has regularized the Community Care Services Voucher CCSV scheme for the elderly since September 2023, and extended its scope to cover the rental of assistive technology products. The number of CCSV will increase to 11,000 in 2024-25, involving an annual expenditure of about $900 million. The government will also regularize the Residential Care Service Voucher RCSV scheme for the elderly since last April. From the second quarter of this year, the number of RCSVs will increase to 5,000 for the early benefit of more eligible elderly persons. The scheme will involve an annual expenditure of about $1,440 million, support to persons with disabilities. The government is committed to increasing the number of day rehabilitation, residential care, and respite service places for persons with disabilities. As at end 2023, the total number of service places had been increased to 36,400. The government will also allocate funding of about $130 million from the Community Care Fund to implement a 3-year pilot scheme starting from the third quarter of 2024 to provide an additional subsidy of $500 per month for employed disabled recipients of CSSA as an incentive for employment. The scheme is expected to benefit some 68,000 persons. Women's development. The government attaches great importance to women's development, setting aside $100 million last year to strengthen support for the relevant work. The Women Empowerment Fund, WEF, established in June 2023, has so far provided funding support to women's organizations and NGOs for launching over 140 projects for purposes such as helping women assume different roles in the job market and providing them with training on child and elderly care, assist working families in childbearing. Starting this year, the government will set up 10 more aided standalone child care centers in phases. The target is to provide nearly 900 additional places for child daycare services within 3 years. The government will also extend the after-school care program for pre-primary children in phases. Starting this year to cover all districts in Hong Kong, the number of service places will increase to nearly 1,200 within 3 years.
至持續緊張。
Revised estimates for 2023 to 24. Hong Kong's economic growth last year was slower than expected owing to global interest rate hikes, economic slowdown, and continued geopolitical tensions. Notwithstanding a reduction in total government expenditure after the pandemic, revenue from land premium and stamp duty has decreased under a softened asset market, resulting in a larger deficit than expected. The 2023-24 revised estimate on government revenue is $554.6 billion, lower than the original estimate by 13.7% or $87.8 billion. Revenue from land premium is $19.4 billion, substantially lower than the original estimate by $65.6 billion. And also far lower than the previous year. Revenue from stamp duty of $50 billion is lower than the original estimate by $35 billion. Revenue from profits tax and salaries tax is $171.2 billion and $79.2 billion respectively, comparable to the original estimate. The revised estimate of the total government expenditure for 2023 to 24 is $727.9 billion, a decrease of 10.2% compared to the previous year, and is 4.3% or $33.1 billion lower than the original estimate. All in all, it is as expected that there will be a consolidated deficit of $101.6 billion for 2023 to 24. Fiscal reserves are expected to be $733.2 billion by the 31st of March 2024. Estimates for 2024 to 25. Looking ahead, the external environment will remain complicated in the coming year. As a small and externally oriented economy, Hong Kong's economic growth will inevitably be affected. Revenues related to asset market will still require some time to fully recover. On the expenditure side, the government will continue to provide resources for strengthening momentum on economic growth and enhancing public services. The major policy initiatives announced in the 2023 policy address involve revenue of about $14.2 billion, operating expenditure of $13.4 billion, and capital expenditure of $25.2 billion. The financial implications of such initiatives have been reflected in the estimates for 2024 to 25. Total government expenditure for 2024 to 25 will increase by about 6.7% to $776.9 billion, with its ratio to nominal GDP projected to increase slightly to 24.6%. Recurrent expenditure will increase by 7% to $580.2 billion. Of this, substantial resources will still be allocated to livelihood-related policy areas, including health, social welfare, and education, involving a total of $343.7 billion, representing 59.3% of recurrent expenditure. After the pandemic, non-recurrent expenditure will substantially decrease by 47.7% to $33.6 billion. Total government revenue for 2024 to 25 is estimated to be $633 billion, while earnings and profits tax are estimated to be $279.6 billion, increasing by 6.8% over the revised estimate for 2023 to 24. Having regard to the land sale program and the land supply target of 2024 to 25, revenue from land premium is estimated to be $33 billion, increasing by 70.1% over the revised estimate for 2023 to 24. Revenue from stamp duty is estimated to be $71 billion, increasing by 42% over the revised estimate for 2023 to 24. Taking into account the bond issuance of $120 billion in 2024 to 25, it is expected that there will be a deficit of $48 billion for the year, and fiscal reserves will decrease to $685.1 billion. In 2024 to 25, the government will maintain its target of zero growth in the civil service establishment. Departments will enhance their effectiveness and efficiency through reprioritization, internal redeployment, and streamlining of work processes in taking forward different new policies and initiatives of the government. It is expected that there will be about 194,000 posts in the civil service establishment as at the end of March 2025. Medium-range forecast. We are determined and confident in overcoming challenges currently facing our public finances. The fundamental principle that we follow is to maintain the sustainability of public finances. We have formulated a fiscal consolidation program to achieve fiscal balance gradually and maintain fiscal reserves at a prudent level for ensuring the provision of various services to society and promotion of economic development, while also having sufficient buffer to roll out measures for rendering assistance to the public and enterprises at times of adversity or in other emergency situations. The medium-range forecast, or MRF, projects mainly from a macro perspective the revenue and expenditure as well as financial position of the government. It has fully reflected the impact of the measures under the fiscal consolidation program. For 2024 to 25, a real economic growth rate of 2.5 to 3.5% per annum is adopted. From 2025 to 26 to 2028 to 29, a real economic growth rate of about 3.2% per annum is adopted. During the above period, the average annual capital works expenditure will be about $90 billion, while recurrent government expenditure will grow at a rate of 4.2% per annum. The ratio of total government expenditure to GDP will gradually fall from about 24.6% for 2024 to 25 to about 20.6% for 2028 to 29. Regarding revenue from land premium, the forecast for 2025 to 26 and onwards is mainly based on the more conservative 20-year average ratio of revenue from land premium to GDP, which is 3.4% of GDP. I also assume that the growth rate of revenue from profits tax and other taxes will correspond to the economic growth rate in the next few years. Overall, the ratio of government revenue to GDP will gradually increase from about 20% for 2024 to 25 to about 22.6% for 2028 to 29. In addition, the MRF reflects the proceeds from the annual issuance of government green or sustainable bonds and infrastructure bonds worth approximately $95 billion to $135 billion in total. Based on the above assumptions and arrangements, the deficit in the operating account and capital account in the next 5 years will gradually reduce every year. The operating account is estimated to record a surplus 2 years later, from 2026 to 27 onwards, while the capital account will record surplus in 2028 to 29. After taking account of proceeds from the issuance of bonds, the consolidated account will only record a deficit in 2024 to 25 and will turn to a surplus in subsequent years. The above forecast has not taken into account any tax rebate or relief measures that the government may implement over the coming 4 years. Fiscal reserves are estimated at $832.2 billion by the end of March 2029, representing 21.2% of GDP, or equivalent to approximately 12 months of government expenditure. Public finance. As one may recall, the government launched several rounds of large-scale counter-cyclical and anti-epidemic measures during the pandemic, resulting in a sharp increase of expenditure to a high level of $810.5 billion in 2022 to 23. Although we have strived to reduce expenditure as the pandemic subsided, total expenditure for 2023 to 24 still reached $727.9 billion, representing an increase of 36.9% compared with 2018 to 19, of which operating expenditure rose substantially by 40.2%, whereas operating revenue during the same period increased only by 13.1%. On capital works, the average annual expenditure has increased from about $76 billion over the past 5 years to about $85 billion in 2023 to 24. This is mainly due to the government's all-out effort to press ahead with the land and housing supply project, along with other infrastructure works for improving the environment and people's livelihood in recent years. In face of challenges posed by the epidemic and external environment, our fiscal reserves have dropped to the current level of $733.2 billion. On government's fiscal situation, we should not just focus on the short-term situation, but should look at the fiscal position over the entire economic cycle. The government will uphold the principle of keeping the expenditure within the limits of revenues, as enshrined under Article 107 of the Basic Law, and strive to achieve fiscal balance and avoid deficit, thereby ensuring the resilience and sustainability of our public finances. We are taking steps to implement a comprehensive fiscal consolidation program. After taking account of the need to strengthen momentum on economic growth and the burden of businesses and the public, the program focuses mainly on expenditure cut with a view to restoring fiscal balance in a few years' time, although some revenue measures have been included in a pragmatic manner. We will address the issue at its root by exercising stronger control over the pace of expenditure growth through re-engineering of business processes or reprioritization. This notwithstanding, the government will remain committed to taking care of people's needs by continued allocation of resources for the provision and improvement of public services. Contain growth of operating expenditure. We will strictly contain growth of operating expenditure by introducing the following measures. First, continuing to maintain zero growth in the civil service establishment with the aim of containing the establishment at a level not exceeding that as at the end of March 2021. And second, implementing the productivity enhancement program as announced earlier, under which recurrent government expenditure will be cut by 1% for 2 consecutive years. The resources thus saved will be reallocated internally for enhancing existing or introducing new public services to further contain the pace of expenditure growth on the premise that such schemes as the Comprehensive Social Security Allowance Assistance Scheme and the Social Security Allowance Scheme will not be affected. All government departments need to cut recurrent government expenditure by another 1% in 2026 to 27. Upon implementation of the measures to contain expenditure growth, we forecast that the growth of operating expenditure will be reduced from the annual average of 7% in the past 5 years to an annual average of 2.2% in the coming 5 years, which is lower than the 5.5% increase in GDP over the same period. Moreover, I have requested the relevant bureaus to review the mode of operation of the following 2 transport subsidy schemes that incur higher expenditure with a rapid expenditure growth rate. We have to emphasize that the government has no intention to cancel these schemes. The review aims to enable the continued provision of subsidies of the schemes in a financially sustainable manner. We anticipate that the above review will be completed within this year. First, the government public transport fare concession scheme for the elderly and eligible persons with disabilities. That is, the $2 scheme. The annual expenditure of the scheme has increased by over 200% from $1.3 billion in 2019 to 20 to about $4 billion in 2023 to 24. So the increase is over 200%. And second, public transport fare subsidy scheme. The annual expenditure of the scheme has doubled from $1.7 billion in 2019 to 20 to the revised estimate of about $3.5 billion in 2023 to 24. I want to stress that with this review, we do not plan to cancel these schemes. We're looking for a mode of operation for these schemes to keep going and to ensure fiscal sustainability. While we are controlling the growth rate of total expenditure, the amount of resources we allocate to public services has still recorded a significant increase. For example, recurrent expenditures related to health, social welfare, and education in 2024 to 25 amount to $343.7 billion, up by 7.3% over 2023 to 24, and by about 34.2% over 5 years ago. Review and reprioritization of capital works. Implementation of infrastructure projects is not only an investment for the future, it can also promote Hong Kong's economic development and enhance people's livelihoods. In recent years, the government has made all-out efforts to press ahead with the land and housing supply projects, including new development areas and new towns, and also proposed a number of other works projects for improving the environment and people's livelihood, such as Kai-Tak Sports Park and Hospital Development Plan, etc. It is estimated that expenditure on the capital works will start reaching its peak in the next 3 years. The government needs to contain its expenditure on infrastructure works at a sustainable level. To this end, relevant bureaus and departments have reviewed the cost-effectiveness of works projects and give due regard to priority and urgency to adjust the implementation schedule. For some works projects which are at a comparatively mature stage of planning, they will continue to be taken forward by the relevant bureaus and departments as planned. They include the site formation and infrastructure works for the Northern Metropolis. As for some works projects that are currently at the preliminary planning or conceptual stage, the implementation schedule will be adjusted in light of their importance, etc. In the MRF, capital works expenditure could be contained at about $90 billion per annum on average. This figure still represents an increase of about 17% over the average annual expenditure of $76 billion in the last 5 years, which demonstrates the government's continued allocation of resources for capital works expenditure. Increased revenue. The key to boosting public revenue lies in sustained high-quality economic development. Only through growing the economic pie and enabling the economy to grow in a more robust and diversified manner can we increase our revenue to support the building of social infrastructure and people's livelihood. When considering measures for increasing revenue, we have to take Hong Kong's actual situation into account and avoid taking any hasty actions that may affect local economic recovery and people's livelihood, while at the same time maintaining the competitive edge of the simple and low tax regime. Having considered the above factors and based on the affordable users pay principle, we will implement adjustments to the following individual tax items. We propose to implement a two-tiered standard rate regime for salaries tax and tax under personal assessment starting from the year of assessment 2024-25. In calculating the amount of tax for taxpayers whose net income exceeds $5 million and whose salaries tax or tax under personal assessment is to be charged at the standard rate, the first $5 million of their net income will continue to be subject to the standard rate of 15%, while the portion of their net income exceeding $5 million will be subject to the standard rate of 16%. It is expected that about 12,000 taxpayers will be affected, accounting for 0.6% of the total number of taxpayers chargeable to salaries tax and tax under personal assessment. The government revenue will increase by about $910 million each year. Even with a two-tiered standard rate regime above in place, the new tax rates will still be lower than those of other advanced economies. The government will introduce legislative amendments in the first half of this year to implement the progressive rating system for domestic properties, with the aim to bring the system into effect from the fourth quarter of 2024 to 25 onwards. The new system will only affect domestic properties with rateable value over $550,000, which account for about 1.9% of the relevant properties. It is estimated that the system will contribute to an increase of about $840 million in government revenue annually. The government will review various fees and charges in a timely manner. Besides adhering to the user pays principle, the affordability of the general public and businesses will also be taken into account. Business registration fees will increase by $200 to $2,200 per annum with effect from the 1st of April 2024. The last adjustment to business registration fees was in 1994. We estimate that government revenue will increase by about $295 million per annum. To relieve the relevant impact, the business registration levy of $150 payable to the protection of wages on insolvency fund will be waived for 2 years. We propose to resume the collection of the hotel accommodation tax at a rate of 3%. It is anticipated that government revenue will increase by about $1.1 billion per annum. This will take effect from the 1st of January 2025 in order to allow the hotel and tourism industries more time for preparation. The HAT to be collected is estimated to only account for less than 1% of the total spending of overnight visitors in Hong Kong. In the coming year, the government plans to allocate over $1 billion for upgrading tourism infrastructure and services to attract more high-spending overnight visitors from different visitor source markets to Hong Kong. Developments in international taxation. We will continue to take forward the implementation of the global minimum tax proposal drawn up by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development to address base erosion and profit shifting. We aim to apply the global minimum tax rate of 15% on large multinational enterprise groups with an annual consolidated group revenue of at least €750 million and impose the Hong Kong minimum top-up tax starting from 2025. We're now conducting consultation on the implementation of the above proposals and expect to submit a legislative proposal to LegCo in the second half of this year. It is estimated that these proposals will bring in tax revenue of about $15 billion for the government annually, starting from 2027 to 28. Hong Kong maintains an edge over other tax jurisdictions in terms of tax competitiveness after the implementation of the proposals. Investment return of the Future Fund. As announced in the 2021-22 budget, the accumulated investment return of the Future Fund will be progressively reflected in the operating account. The government will submit a resolution for passage by LegCo next month to complete the transfer arrangement. Bond issuance. The issuance of government bonds is conducive to the development of the bond market and allows the use of the capital raised from the market to drive green or sustainable and infrastructure projects. I emphasize that proceeds from bond issuance will not be used for funding government recurrent expenditure. The Committee on the Financing of Major Development Projects, led by me, has reviewed how to adopt an orderly and phased approach in developing the Northern Metropolis. We plan to issue bonds of about $95 billion to $135 billion per annum in the next 5 years to drive the development of the Northern Metropolis and other infrastructure projects. For the Kao Yichao Artificial Islands project, we will continue to conduct relevant studies, and in considering its concrete implementation timetable, we will take into account various factors including the public finance position. The government will continue to adhere strictly to fiscal discipline and keep the government debt at a prudent level. It is expected that the ratio of government debt to GDP will be in the range of about 9 to 13% from 2024 to 25 to 2028 to 29, which is much lower than most of the other advanced economies. President, this year will still be fraught with uncertainties. Investment sentiment and capital flows are under the sway of the complicated and volatile external environment. In the short term, we need to reinforce the momentum of our economic recovery, while in the long run, we have to adjust our economic growth model with enhancements to both quality and quantity. By charting the course of high-quality development, we will drive further innovations, bring in new services and products, stimulate new demand, and open up new markets. This is the necessary path to take for the future development of Hong Kong. Just as nature goes through endless evolutions, so economic development has its cycles of ups and downs. New challenges and future uncertainties may be disconcerting. But when we reflect on decades of development in Hong Kong, it is obvious that the path we have trodden, however winding or bumpy, has always led to a better tomorrow. The color of the cover of this year's budget symbolizes the first glimmer of dawn, for this inspires hope, faith, and our longing for greater unity and harmony. We have succeeded in turning challenges into greater opportunities every step of the way. We owe every success to the strong leadership of the Central People's Government, the staunch support from our country, as well as the agility and tenacity of Hong Kong people. Our unique positioning and distinctive functions make us irreplaceable as our country strides towards high-quality development and the building of a great modern nation. And we have been playing an active role in contributing to our country's development. Our country's swift and steady progress alongside a fast-developing Asia has provided us with infinite opportunities along the way. Hong Kong thrives on its cultural blend of East and West and its connectivity to the world. It is also the only place in the world where the global advantage and the China advantage come together in a single economy. So long as we know where we stand and chart the right direction, we will be able to give full play to our unique strengths by blazing new trails and firmly pressing ahead. Hong Kong will certainly thrive and prosper like a dragon soaring far and high in the boundless sky. Thank you, Mr. President. President, I move the second reading of the Appropriation Bill 2024. Thank you, President, and I thank honorable members. I now propose the question to you that the aforesaid bill be read the second time. In accordance with the rules of procedure, the second reading debate is adjourned and the estimate are referred to the Finance Committee for examination before the debate on the bill resumes. I now adjourn the Council until 11 a.m. on Wednesday, 13th of March, 2020.